To that in just a moment. My guest tonight, Jeanette Mohammed, Member of Parliament, Suna East, and Kipchumba Murkomen, who's the Senator for Elgeyo Marakwet County. Thank you both for joining us. Was it an anticlimax? A lot of people saying everything that was said, one, at the rally today, I think with the exception of the national referendum, had already been said. And couldn't this have been said at another forum other than calling for a rally in the capital?
Yes. Yvonne, first of all, we must agree, according to ourselves, that the event today was a very successful event, and it was a very important day in our calendar and the history of this country, Saba Saba. And I know the expectations of our supporters and expectations of Kenyans were much bigger than what happened today, because people expected other things that we are aware of. But we have to show leadership, and we have to show our followers leadership that we don't want to do anything unconstitutional. We want to do our things constitutionally so that we can be law-abiding citizens, and we can have, this country belongs to all of us, whether you're in Jubilee or CORD. So for that reason, it was not an anti-climax, it was the beginning of now the real business of CORD. Initially, we were talking about, discussing and dialoguing these matters with the Jubilee regime. More dialogue? No more dialogue now.
Okay. So
now we are going to dialogue with the people through a referendum.
Okay. Kipchumba, doesn't CORD have a point though? And when you take a look at the massive crowds, not just at Uhuru Park, but at various other venues, they're obviously speaking to a constituency that resonates with a lot of the statements they're making. And some saying that Jubilee rubbishing this seems a little arrogant on the government's part.
Let's start with first what happened today. I think today was a spectacular failure.
How so?
Raila promised that this will be a defining moment. Indeed, it was defining in terms of the downfall of CORD's popularity. They told us that it will be hailstorms. The clouds do not even form. The truth, Yvonne, is that CORD's machine is now running not even on the tire. It's completely deflated. It's running on the rim. Kalonzo promised the crowd that he had come with his blanket and boots, that he was going to sleep in Uhuru Park. It never even happened, because those expectations and the things they were planning for are things we've always said, that we have a forum to deal with those issues. And CORD's agenda is nothing. They just want power. The integral issue for CORD in all this debate is about removing IBC and looking for another Kofi Annan.
Right.
And they announced that they need actually a UN referee to give them possibly half.
Those are not the only issues, and we'll get to some of those issues in a moment. They have talked about runaway insecurity. They have talked about the high cost of living. They have talked about corruption within the government. All of these, which we know,
was that the only forum to say it?
Perhaps not, but do you not think they have a point? Look at those crowds that were at Uhuru Park. Do you think they do not resonate though with what the leaders are saying?
It's a whole waste. I mean, you see, the reason why we were elected to lead is to solve problems, which were there. Otherwise, there was no reason for us to be elected.
But some of those problems persist, Kipchumba, do they not?
Exactly. And those problems have been there for as long as Raila was in office, Kalonzo was in office, Wetangula was in office.
However, you are now the ones in office, and you now have the mandate.
Absolutely. Okay. And that is why we are dealing with the problems. When Americans had the September 11 scenario, the Republicans were in office. The Democrats didn't say that we need a mass action, rallies and whatever. They told the president, and they didn't even give the president conditions. They told George Bush that we have a problem as a country. Whatever support you need from Democrats, we're here for you. But these are the ones that are talking about demands, and even the demands they're talking about are issues. I have said, and I without any fear of contradiction, Wetangula, Kalonzo and Raila have been in politics for as over 100 years.
All right, okay. But however, that is not an excuse, because so you are now the ones in power, Kipchumba. So,
absolutely.
The buck now stops.
It stops with
within
us.
the Jubilee
and that's
government.
what I'm saying.
Let's have Jeanette in for a moment.
The buck stops with us. We are solving those problems. It cannot be solved in rallies.
We'll get to how you're solving. We'll get to how you're solving. No,
do not even get a quarter.
We'll get to how you're solving those problems in a moment, because runaway insecurity is something that's really high. Jeanette?
Yvonne, what Senator Kipchumba Murkomen is doing is just grandstanding, as usual, by the Jubilee administration. Those people we are speaking to today, and the people we spoke to at his backyard in Eldoret, and the people we spoke to in Kisumu, in Kakamega, are Kenyans. We were not speaking to chicken. We were speaking to Kenyans who belong to this country. And what we are bringing forward, and what we are telling the Jubilee administration to do, are things that are being given to us by the people on the ground. Number two, the crowd you saw in Jubilee in Uhuru Park today, that's a huge crowd. There's a crowd that URP cannot raise in this town. He knows very well that they are not in this town themselves. But having said that,
the issues they are raising are valid, and the people they are speaking to is a constituency.
Let's discuss the issues.
We will get to that in a moment.
Now, these are issues. Initially, we said we want to dialogue with the government on these issues as opposition. You know, it is URP who are feeling that when we dialogue with the government, we may take their positions. We are not interested in hearing this government. This is a sick government.
You can see
that
the
is
things
going
he's
to get.
talking about.
This is a sick government that might not.
You can see the things he's talking about.
Absolutely.
Now, we wanted to give dialogue a chance so that we can tell them that these are what the issues that are being raised by our people on the ground. They refused. They said we cannot dialogue.
And so
with
now you're going into a referendum.
And you know, Yvonne, we are not doing Kenyans favors. As opposition, we are constitutionally mandated organ of governance as opposition.
Please hold that thought, Jeanette. Hold that thought, Kipchumba. We will come back to this, and we will now get into the issues.
It can't go and challenge Yvonne.
It will go. You will be able to challenge it after. We do have some stories, and we will come back and we will get to the issues now. The IEBC, security, corruption. We will get to that in a moment. Nancy, over to you. As you can see, this is definitely something that is still heated up until this point.